effort versus impact is very retrospective to effort equals or effort equals reaction, right? So for every action there is an opposite and equal reaction. Or equal and opposite reaction. I think it's equal and opposite reaction is the Newton's third law, I believe. But what that states is that for every 1 unit of input that you put into something, you get 1 unit of output. But that does not mean that if you put in 1 hour's worth of time into the markets, then you shall receive your monetary pay that you perceive to be valued at. So what that means is that just because you put in 2,000 hours to learning the markets does not mean that you shall be granted anything. But let's say you do know how to predict the markets. It does not mean that the monetary value of 2,000 hours of work is valued at whatever. Let's just say an average of $25 an hour, which is, a okay pay, right, for a job. So $50,000 before taxes. That's not saying that $50,000 is valued at that 2,000 hours of time, because we all are subject to only like 8,300 hours within 8,300 hours within 1 year. So, which is 24/7 times by 365, or 24/7 times by 52, where 50 or 24 times by 365. You could put in 2,000 hours into learning the markets with the right strategies and be able to make millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions. It's all subject to what you know, right? You may know something better than somebody else, or you may know something worse. And a worse input is then subject to a worse output, right? If you put shitty parts into your vehicle, right? Or if you put shitty oil into your vehicle, then there will come a day when there is a shitty output. It does not mean that your performance of the vehicle and the mechanical workings of the vehicle is then shown within today's work or today's output, but it will be shown when that vehicle gets up in mileage. So you want to learn the best possible way with the least amount of, that takes the least amount of time and is able then to be explored upon with more amount of time. So that makes sense to the effect that you can learn something within a small amount of time, but then and be able to make money with it, right? And then when you want to explore different avenues, just because you create like this avenue that, or learn like 200% more or 100% more, let's say you learn 100% more, does not mean you will make 100% more money, right? It probably means you may make 10,000% more money. It all depends on what you are learning, right? And trading is one of those things where you can put in less and less time and earn way more, just because that caliper of learning, that caliper of input is very great, that it then perceives a great input. So it's like a multiplier. So if you have 100% of a strategy where you're able to make money, right? Because the money part is what you're in pursuing of, right? So it's like, okay, can I develop a strategy or copy a strategy, which I would highly recommend copying a strategy, understanding that strategy, and then implementing your own ideas throughout that strategy, which come naturally when continuing to look at the market through somebody else's strategy. So if you learn the strategy of using swing highs and swing lows within price, you then identify that certain highs and lows in price operate to some effect of the market, right? So what that means is that just because you're identifying swing lows and swing highs in the market, which a swing low in the market is, for example, something like this, or not something like this, but definitely object like this, right? So we have to have a bearish trend, and then we have a lower low, right? Because lower lows within bearish trends. And then we have another lower low, and then we have a higher low, right? So it's going to look something like this, right? So this right here is the lower low. This is the higher low. And then this is the lower low. Break of structure located right there. Higher low right here. And then we then look for a break of structure to the bullish side. And then depiction of an entry. And then we enter wherever there's a liquidity within the market. And then we push the bullish side. Now, when identifying things like that, we also can use it to inversely coordinate to a bullish trend, right? So it's the same thing, but it's called the swing high, right? But let's say we just work off of the understanding of swing highs and swing lows, and we continue to look for them in the market, and they pop up everywhere, right? So it's not something that's just going to pop up every week, right? It's going to pop up multiple times a day, maybe, right? At least once a day, you should see. Very rarely that it's not once a day. So when doing that and continuing to look at the market in that light, you then start to see, okay, I'm starting to see different instances where these highs then create these lows, or these highs create this effect, or these lows create this outcome, just like an effect, right? An outcome is an effect. So with that, just go copy somebody's strategy. I highly recommend using ICT. It may be a little confusing at the beginning. He has multiple videos. I would recommend going through that ICT 2022 mentorship videos. There's about, I think, like 42 or 43 of them. I may be mistaken by that number. Maybe it's only 41. But there's many, many videos that he has. And you're not going to get the markets until probably somewhere between 15 to 22 or 23 episodes. So just because the time in the markets, right? The time and looking at the markets, right? Now, you can definitely, you will understand the markets more and more if you put more time into the markets and looking at the markets. Now, if you want to look at the markets, use TradingView. They have a free service, but if you do want to pay for the service, I recommend just getting the yearly basic package, which allows you to go back in time. I think it's like 5,000 candles back in time, which is pretty good. And then you're able to customize different time frames and use different time frames all the way down to like the 1 minute, which is really good. So yeah, go watch ICT videos. Go get the TradingView app on your computer, and just go get a notebook, go get a pen, and start taking notes. Now, I would recommend taking front and back notes. So if we classify front and back of one page, that one page, right? So the front and back of one page is one page, right? If we classify that as one page, I would recommend taking anywhere from 2 to 3 pages of notes. So, you know, you're probably looking at 1,000 to 1,500 words per video, right? So there's 40 videos, so you're going to be taking somewhere around 40 to 60,000 words for all those videos, which isn't much. Like, if you're dedicated, you can whip through those videos. Put them on 2x speed too, but you can whip through those videos in, I'd probably say, like a good 3 to 4 weeks. Like, it's not terrible. And once you get through those videos, if you then continue to look at the markets and understand the markets and back test your strategy, you will completely understand the markets, right? So it's all about the amount of time that you want to put into the markets. I would recommend, For me, it probably took me about 300 to 400 hours to really understand how the markets work, how the market's priced, and yeah, put 300 to 400 hours into the markets, and in no time you'll understand how they work, how they price. But for a beginner, I would recommend just hammering down and doing 4 to 5 hours of, uninterrupted work throughout through one day. So it's like another full-time job, right? But it's a hobby. So when you get home from work, lunch break, go and watch the videos, go take fucking a bunch of notes, and just go and hammer through it. Like, just be unsensitized to it, or desensitized to it, I mean. Just hammer through it. Like, you'll understand the markets within no time if you do that. So just stay focused, stay optimistic, know that you're gonna win, then do time, and just go and get it. Like, go fucking get it.